They say you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone.
Hey there YouTube, this is Cineday for Cineday Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing a film called Heroes of the East. And this is another Shaw Brothers film. I believe it came out in 1978. And I'm kind of surprised. Normally I'm used to the Shaw Brothers coming out with original ideas or really wacky ideas for their films. This is really just your basic martial arts film. They added a thin layer of conflict. So the film starts out and you got a setting of, it's probably the early 1900s, based on the clothing that's being worn, because you got people with suits. There's those pendulum clocks, like grandfather style clocks. And it's not like hyper modern, but it's semi modern. So the son is going to be getting married in this arranged marriage with a Japanese girl, and I thought that was going to be most of the film was be the conflict between the Japanese culture versus the Chinese culture, and it ended up being, I guess I would say, somewhat of a propaganda piece. I don't know if they meant it that way, but to me that's how it ended up coming off. As at first, once they get married, she doesn't do exactly the same thing as the Chinese woman would do, such as she doesn't kneel and bow to her father-in-law. She stands up and does it. So the father-in-law, he doesn't care, he just like keep ceremony going. Then once they're married, the servants hear this noise and they're like, wow, it sounds like our master is beating his new wife. And they tell his dad, and his dad's got to leave and go back to Japan for business. And he doesn't really come out and say, hey, don't beat your wife. He says, gives him a piece of advice that husbands should not bully their wives. And his daughter-in-law is like, so she's like, no, I'm good. But tensions escalate as she starts practicing karate around the house more and starts basically just tearing the place up. And there was kind of surprised, like, oh my god, she knocked down this wall with her kicks, and she destroyed all this statuary. So he's like, yeah, just go ahead and fix it and don't practice here anymore. And he's got his own gym. He's like, okay, well, just bring all your stuff to the gym and then practice there. And they have another bit of conflict, and when they end up having dinner together, where the husband's like, why aren't you sitting at the table? He's like, no, well, it's our custom to kneel at the table. And the husband makes fun of her. Well, here prisoners have to kneel in order to eat. And then they get into a bit of a food fight, but not like American style where food gets everywhere. It's the typical, she throws it, he catches it. She throws it, he catches it. Eventually, when she goes to the gym to work out, she's basically getting rid of all of his training equipment. And he's like, what? No. He runs over to the gym, and then they end up getting into a fight. So he's really good in Chinese martial arts and basically beats her at everything, showing well, what else you got, because I basically just destroyed you. And she's like, oh, okay. Goes back home, and then she uses some ninjutsu techniques on him. And I think it's funny that he's complaining about her ninja style, where the ninjas actually historically came from China, and they were known as the Lin Kuei. That's if the internet is correct. And we all know the internet is always correct. So she gets mad at him for basically beating her at all her martial arts, and she goes back to Japan. And the husband's like, yeah, whatever. So he keeps going. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna let her go. Eventually, they talk. They're like, oh, okay. They talk him into writing a letter. So he writes this letter, and basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to piss her off so she comes and fights him. And she ends up coming back, but her friend, who was her instructor, basically reads the letter, and he takes it as a challenge to not just her, but to basically all Japanese. And he goes to his master, and he's like, dude, we need to go to China and show this guy who's got the best martial arts. So it's basically, it turns into a Japan martial arts versus Chinese martial arts to see which one's better. And they've got specialists in different styles. Like one guy is a sword guy, another guy is a brawler, but he's freaking huge. And then the last guy is like the ninja expert guy. And I was surprised that the master didn't fight. They make an arrangement where he's only going to fight one person a day in order for him to actually have time to rest after each bout. So overall, it's not as action-packed as a lot of the martial arts movies, where you see pieces of action like sprinkled throughout the film, where you get a set piece of action, dialogue or other style of action, another set piece, more dialogue, another set piece, and then the ultimate either one-on-one fight or big bad battle scene, something like that. This one basically is pushed off all the way to the end. It's like you're playing a video game and you got to go through all these pieces, and then okay, I'll finally get to the exciting part where all the fights are one, boom. Obviously, it wasn't really obvious to me when I was watching. I was expecting that he would lose like to one or two of the other people, or it would be your Hollywood style. It's 3-3, and then it's really close at the end, but then he wins. But he basically he beat everybody. It was like unexpected expectations. You kind of expect him to win overall, but you weren't expecting it to be like just like a hands down win for everything. And I thought it was odd that when all the Japanese arrived, that they could understand each other perfectly, and there was no misunderstandings. And then at the very end, once he had won, it was like he had one of the guys was translating for him. So I thought that was rather odd. I would definitely give this a overall rating of a C. It doesn't have the humor I'm used to seeing. I mean, Jackie Chan's movies usually have a lot of humor. The Shaw Brothers usually have uh, humor, but throughout, and some of the stuff they did have really wasn't that funny. Overall, it's an enjoyable film. If you want to see it, go ahead. But it's like, I'm not gonna say it's one of their better films. I think it's a pretty standard fare for stuff that was coming out of China in the 70s. Um, you're better served by watching like the Five Deadly Venoms, which is very enjoyable from beginning to end. And if you like this review, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have any comments, please go ahead and throw them down below. And I'm always interested in seeing what you did like, or if you didn't like it, go ahead and hit that dislike button. And also, if you disliked it, please just let me know what you didn't like about it and see what I can do. I know there was some issues I had with my video editor. I think I've solved it, so hopefully it's not going to be all warpy with the video quality. And if you want to see more movie reviews, go ahead and hit that subscribe. I don't know if you noticed the hair has changed. Sans beard. Filming a feature film here in Houston, and look forward to finishing about 4 more scenes in that. And I'll post a special announcement once I know when it's going to get released. All right, I will see you in the next review.